We were studying about filters. Filters are frequency selective circuits. These are circuits that react different to different frequencies. In fact, any circuit which is non-resistive, not purely resistive, behaves differently to different frequency signals, and these constitute a very important uh, group of circuits that are used in communication and other electronic um, circuits or systems. Frequency selective circuit, we mean that it is a circuit where the input signal, which we usually take as a voltage, and the output signal that we usually take as a voltage as well, and the transfer function of this system, if we are looking at the magnitude response only, then whether output is a higher value or a lower value depends on the signal of the input. So if the input is a function of frequency, and we know the system as a system response, or the transfer function that is also dependent on frequency, then the output would also be a function of frequency, but uh, it will it will depend on what exactly the frequency is. So a filter, and we have looked at a band pass, sorry, a low pass filter. A low pass filter, we had a look at this one in the previous lectures. Then I gave you the assignment to see how a high pass filter works. And today we are going to look at another filter that is known as a band pass filter. So if we look at the ideal characteristics, then a low pass filter can be represented by a transfer function, a magnitude response, that is something like this. So the output is high when the input is of a lower frequency, and it is low when the output is when the frequency is higher. So basically, this is the cutoff frequency, this is the stop band, and this is the pass band. This band is the pass band, this band up to infinity is the stop band. And a high pass filter with the same cutoff frequency would be something like this, that allows the input to go to the output or pass the circuit uh, when the frequency is high, but when it is low, it is not allowed to pass. And you can and some important parameters of the filters are, when we are dealing with a low pass filter, then the cutoff frequency is an important parameter of the circuit, and we define the cutoff. Similarly, for the high pass filter, the omega c is also an important parameter, and we define omega c as the frequency at which the magnitude response is 1 over under root 2 times the maximum value of the magnitude response. Let us call this as H max, or H max magnitude. And today we are going to look at the band pass filter, another type of filter. It is known as the band pass filter. These previous filters can tell you their names, that what would a band pass filter look like. So a low pass filter passes lower frequencies, high pass filter passes higher frequencies. A band pass filter is going to pass a band of frequencies. So a band of frequencies pass lower than the band and the higher than the band frequencies are not passed. So we have two cutoff frequencies. We represent them by omega 1 or omega 2 or omega C1 and omega C2. And this band of frequencies is called the bandwidth, represented by beta. Bandwidth beta is equal to, we can see, omega 2 minus omega 1 is the band, is the width of the pass band. So this is the pass band. Now this is the lower stop band and this is the upper stop band. So this is a band pass filter, and we can see there are several parameters that are of interest here. While the cutoff frequency and maybe the magnitude, the value of the magnitude response in the pass band may be a parameter, but here we have several parameters. So for example, we have two cutoff frequencies. Omega 1 is the lower cutoff frequency and omega 2 is the upper cutoff frequency. And then there is this bandwidth, which is not a parameter, because if we know omega 1 and omega 2, then beta can be calculated as this. There is another parameter that is not very clear from this ideal band pass filter response. So for a practical band pass filter, we will have the magnitude response to be something like this. So as you can expect, that instead of a band of frequencies having exactly the same transfer function for several frequencies or a band of frequencies, we will have exactly one frequency in a practical circuit where the output would be maximum, and then the 0.707 value, 0.707 times the max, which is 1 here, this value is going to give us omega 1, and the same omega 2 would be found from this relationship, exactly this relationship. The definition the definition of cutoff frequency does not change here. So omega 1, omega 2 are still found to be the frequencies such that this is true. So first we find what is H max for a certain case, and then we can find what are these frequencies. However, this frequency omega naught is known as center frequency, and this is the frequency where h of j omega is maximum value. This peaks basically. So that is what h max is. Let us write it like this. H max is the value of h of j omega at omega equal to omega naught. This is known as the center frequency, and if we work this out and find, which I am skipping for now, but you can just believe me here, this is omega naught is the geometric mean of omega 1 and omega 2, is the geometric mean of the two cutoff frequencies. And you will come to understand that this frequency omega 1 is closer to omega naught than omega 2 being closer, is not closer to omega naught. This is how a geometric mean behaves. So this distance on the frequency scale is smaller and this is larger. That is how a geometric mean works. Anyway, this is a band pass filter. So this is a practical band pass filter, and let us come up with a circuit that which has a transfer function or a magnitude response of that of a band pass filter. One very important point that I just remembered is that this cutoff frequency is also known as the half power frequency. When they were deciding on what to call the cutoff frequency for a practical low pass filter, for example, a practical low pass filter would be something like this. So we will not have a band here. then the max value, and then the 0.707 value. Why is this the 0.707 of the max? The answer to this does not lie in the magnitude of the transfer function. Instead, the frequency where the where exactly half power is transferred to the output was chosen. So half power frequency means the cutoff frequency is the frequency at which half power of the input was transferred to output. So if this system was receiving 100 watts of power, then when the frequency at which the output would be receiving 500 watt of power is the frequency that was labeled as the cutoff frequency. So that was how this was chosen. However, this exactly corresponds to this thing. So why is this so? If you remember, then the output of a system in the Laplace domain, frequency domain, was equal to the transfer function into the input in the Laplace domain. So if the input is okay, let us make this um, functions of omega. So V naught j omega is equal to h of j omega into Vi of j omega. And if we are looking at their frequency, their magnitude responses, then we are dealing with the magnitude. If this is 1, so the input magnitude is 1, then h of j omega magnitude gets multiplied by this one is multiplied by this, and we receive the output. So if the input voltage would be 1, the output voltage would be received, the output voltage would equal to the magnitude of the transfer function. So what value of omega corresponds to half power point? For that, we should know that the power of a circuit is equal to the voltage squared divided by the impedance in the frequency domain. So the power is equal to voltage squared over impedance. So basically, if the impedance that we are dealing with is considered to be um, the important thing here is leave this point where we are bringing this impedance in, is the power of the input is proportional to the input voltage squared, and the power of the output would be proportional to the output voltage squared. So basically what we are going to get is the um, the in order to get the output power exactly equal to the input power divided by 2, we have to work out the frequency for which this is true. So when will the output power be exactly half of the power of the input? It will be when the output voltage would be, this corresponds to the output voltage to be equal to 1 over under root 2 of the input voltage. Why? Because the square of this is going to be, so the square of the output voltage would be equal to half of the input voltage squared. So that point exactly is going to give us the cutoff frequency. I hope you understand this. So if we have 1 here and h of j omega magnitude is to be found, then this must be equal to this thing. So that gave us h of j omega magnitude must be equal to 1 over under root 2. Or if we do not take this equal to 1, instead it is some other value, then we can keep it Vi here and Vo here, and you can see that h of j omega must still be equal to 1 over under root 2 times um, the 1 over under root 2. Why? because of this very definition. We can see this because V naught must be equal to 1 over under root 2 Vi. So if we have Vi here, we will have 1 over under root 2 Vi cancels and we still get the same thing. So this was how the definition of cutoff frequency was found to be the half power point. And this definition is across the board for low pass filters, for high pass filters, for band pass filter. And then we are going to look at another filter that, for the sake of completion, let me list it down here, and that is known as a band reject filter, or a band reject filter, as you can very easily guess now by the name, is just the opposite of a band pass filter. It has a band that does not pass. This passes, so this is a lower pass band, this is a higher pass band, and this is the stop band. All the definitions of the parameters still remain the same. Omega 1, omega 2 are still the cutoff frequencies exactly by the same definition. We still have the bandwidth equal to omega 2 minus omega 1, and we still have omega naught equal to the square root of omega 1 and omega 2, product of omega 1 and omega 2. And for a practical circuit, it would be something like this. So we are going to take these frequencies where we will find the max value, and then the 0.707 of the max is what is going to give us omega 1 and omega 2, and omega naught here is the frequency at which h of j omega is going to give us the is equal to h minimum. In most cases it is 0, and this will be the bandwidth. Now the bandwidth here is the width of the stop band. Here bandwidth is the width of the pass band, and this is how basically these are all the filters that we usually are interested in, and usually any filter in the real life can be classified into this filter, except there is another filter that has a very strange name, but we are not going to discuss it over here. It is known as an all pass filter. The question that comes to mind is why we need an all pass filter. By definition, an all pass filter would have a transfer function magnitude response like this, so everything passes. So if we don't have any filter, then wouldn't that be an all pass filter? So if we have an input and we don't connect anything here and just carry it out to the output, is it not an all pass filter? It is, but there are some other objectives that are usually to be achieved for an all pass filter, but it is beyond the discussion in this course. So you will come to this filter in other courses and you will see what are its virtues and what are its vices. There is another parameter that is related to band pass filter and band reject filter. Sometimes the band reject filter is also called the band stop filter. So if you come across this name in literature, you should not be confused that it is some other filter that we have not studied. So this exact point omega naught and the bandwidth gives us the definition of another very important parameter of a filter, that is known as quality factor, Q. So filters usually of the same kind, the band pass filter and band reject filter, are compared by their quality factor. By definition, they are this ratio. Quality factor is omega naught over the bandwidth. It is true for both the cases. So for band reject filter, this is true. For band pass filter, this is valid as well. So whenever we are dealing with filters, we are usually interested in finding their parameters. So if a filter circuit is given, we find we analyze it and find its parameters. But the actual use of this knowledge is to be able to design a filter. So let me describe these very important terms here. So up till now, we have been doing analysis. In one of the previous videos, we saw what design actually looks like, or in fact, it was synthesis. But analysis is usually the first thing that we do, first thing to learn, and the objective of learning how to analyze things um, is to be able to design something for real life. Okay? This is actually the end objective, and we are going to look at this thing in this course for the first time in the whole degree. I will give you an example in today's lecture, in this lecture, in fact, just to tell you how design is going to um, be done. So let us begin with by looking at a band pass filter and a band reject filter first. One other thing, the filters are of two types. There are passive filters and then there are active filters. Active filters are filters that have op amps in them. They are based on op amps, and because of the op amps, we can get amplification as well, which is not possible with passive filters. Cannot amplify. By amplification, we means if the input signal is of a lower amplitude, the output signal is of a higher, bigger amplitude, then that is amplification. Passive filters, for example, the filter that we saw here for the low pass filter that we studied last time, we saw that if we take the output across a capacitor is a low pass filter. So an RC circuit is a low pass filter if we take the output across the capacitor. Why? You should know how to quickly see whether how would a circuit behave if it is a simple one, and we are not going to change the circuit of the filters because it is a long process for very different circuits to how to analyze to be able to understand whether it is a low pass filter, high pass filter, or band pass filter, or band reject filter. But for the simple types that we have studied, you should be able to understand how do they work. So look for the extreme cases. For example, we know that in frequency domain, this C is going to become 1 over j omega C. So what is going to happen when omega is 0? So when omega is 0, we are going to get C tends to infinity. When C is infinity, it means an open circuit. It is ZC. We are looking at an impedance, reactance. So ZC would be infinity. So basically we are going to get something that have something here, but it is an open circuit here. This corresponds to open circuit. So an open circuit here. So if we have some voltage here, say 1 volt, we are going to get this output equal to 1 volt as well. Because this is open, we are just measuring here and no current is going to flow here. So no drop here. This input will exactly will appear at the output. So for omega 0, the output would be the same as the input. So it is passed. But what is going to happen when omega is infinity? That is large omega. 1 over j omega c, 1 over infinity is going to be equal to 0. That corresponds to a short circuit. So we are going to get something like this. So it is a short and the output is across a short. Output across a short is going to be 0. So we see when omega is a large value, output is 0. So this means it is a low pass filter. For omega 0, it was 1. For omega infinity, it is 0. So it is going to be something like this. That is how you can quickly say it is a low pass filter. You can do the similar argumentation for a high pass filter when you take the output, sorry, this is a capacitor, output across a resistor. Now do the same argumentation and see why this is a high pass filter, why this looks like to be a high pass filter. And similarly, there is another low pass filter. If instead of an RL filter, we have, RC filter, we have an RL filter, and if we take the output across the R, it is a low pass filter. And if we take the output across L, it is a high pass filter. So this is a low pass filter and this is a high pass filter as well. You can not only analyze this, but you can also carry out a detailed analysis to see that this is indeed the case. Now we are going to look at, in the continuation of this video, we are going to look at a circuit, a passive. All these are passive circuits, they don't have an op amp. So all these that we are studying are the passive filters. So usually the passive filters are the RL, RC, and the RLC that we are going to look at now, filters. And active filters are usually op amp filters, which usually do not have inductors. So these are op amps with R's and C's. Why an inductor is not there is something that has to do with how the components can be manufactured on the integrated circuit, because an op amp is an IC, integrated circuit, and it's very it is used basically in circuits that are very small ones. And an R can be made within a chip. A C can be made within a chip by a forward biased junction, PN junction, or a reverse biased PN junction. And this R can be resistance related to P-type material or N-type material. Op-amps are made, but inductors are very difficult to make. So op-amp circuits are usually tried not to carry any inductors. Does not mean that an inductor cannot be used with op-amp circuits. This is what I am saying is that if we have to make a chip, an IC, out of the whole circuit, then it should be made. An inductor cannot be made inside the chip. It can be connected outside the chip. And we will look to these inshallah later in the second video. But right now, let us look at a RLC circuit in the continuation of this video. This RLC circuit with an L and C here and the output across a C, across an R, is a band pass filter. So we are looking at a passive band pass filter. The output is across R, the input is here, and this L and C are together, and all these are in series. That is why this is called a series RLC circuit. So with the way I have told you how to analyze a circuit for extreme values, let us just do the same here. So what is going to happen when omega is 0? J omega L would be 0 and 1 over j omega C would be infinity. So this is going to be a short circuit, this is going to be an open circuit, but they are in series. It means there is an open here. So the input voltage is not going to get to the output, and output voltage would be 0. And this is the same thing is going to happen with omega is equal to infinity as well. This is going to be infinity, this is going to be 0. Again the same thing. So in both of these cases VO would be 0. So if we have an understanding that at omega equal to 0 it will be 0, at omega is equal to infinity it will be 0, then obviously we know that there will be an omega where um, this value would be maximum. So it starts with 0, starts at 0 and ends at 0, but it will not be 0 for all values of omega, and there will be an omega where the value would be maximum. And remember, when we draw this for a filter, we usually always draw for h of j omega magnitude, that is the magnitude response that we have seen quite in detail, and even looked at how to draw the Bode diagrams, Bode plots. And we can very easily assess where would this be maximum. When is the output going to be equal to input? When the effect of both of them is equal to 0, that is, they are shorted out. So we know, let us assume there is an omega for which this reactance is exactly equal to the negative of this reactance. That is, j omega L is equal to the negative of 1 over j omega C. That omega is known as this omega naught. And you can very easily see this j can go to here, j becomes j square, which is minus 1, minus minus cancels. And this omega naught is equal to plus minus square root of 1 over LC. But we know that we don't take the negative value because L and C are positive values, and this can be written as 1 divided by, either way it is correct. This is the center frequency, and although we have written it by inspection, by reasoning, but we can put the definition to practice as well to find that this is indeed the center frequency. So let us enclose it for our later record that omega naught for this circuit is equal to 1 over square root of LC, which is the center frequency. Because when we design circuits, we look at the parameters and the equations, how those parameters are to be found for a particular circuit, and how for a particular omega naught we are going to make a circuit or design it. I am not doing this in detail because you can very easily do all the steps now in this course. With your understanding, you can try to find the transfer function h of s for this circuit, and you can see you are going to get r over L into s over s square plus r over L s plus 1 over LC. And when you convert this to h of j omega and then find the magnitude, you are going to get this to be equal to r over L omega divided by omega. If we convert this by putting s is equal to j omega, then we get h of j omega from here, and then when we take the magnitude, we are going to get this omega r by L square plus 1 over LC minus omega square whole square. This would be the magnitude of the denominator. Magnitude, and we can see that I hope you can do the intermediate step, but let me do it for you. H of, sorry, not the magnitude, just converting s, putting s is equal to j omega would be equal to j omega r by L over, when we put j omega here, this becomes minus omega square, and this becomes j omega. So we get 1 over LC minus omega square as the real part plus j omega r over L. So this is a complex number, this is a complex number. And the phase angle h of j omega and the phase angle theta omega would be equal to the phase of this, which does not have a real part, only the imaginary part, so it is 90 degrees, minus the phase angle of this denominator, which would be tan inverse of the imaginary part omega r over L divided by the real part 1 over LC minus omega square. This is going to be the phase. And by the way, we can, if we can factorize this into S plus some alpha 1 into S plus some alpha 2, and we can easily write it in a way and see how a Bode diagram can be constructed. You should try to do it yourself. I will come to that later on. So this is what h of j omega magnitude is. Now by definition, the value of omega at which the h of j omega magnitude would be maximum, let us call that h max, is this thing, can be found from here. And if you do this analysis and use all the your knowledge of maxima minima and try to take the derivative and put equal to 0 and etc., you are going to see that this is equal to 1. For passive circuits, h of j omega max is usually 1. It cannot be amplified, but this is the max value that it can go, because there is no amplification possible in a passive RLC circuit. And then you will see that if using this definition, you will find omega naught to be equal to the same thing. Here we did by using this argument, but here with the expression, you can find the derivative and then put equal to 0 to see that ultimately you are going to get this thing. And then by using this definition, that h of j omega c magnitude will be equal to the maximum value of h max, which is this thing, you can solve and find that there would be two values of omega c as already expected. Why? Because we are going to get a quadratic equation to deal with, and then we will come across two values of cutoff frequencies, two expressions for cutoff frequencies. Omega 1 will be equal to minus r over 2l plus square root of r by 2l square plus 1 over LC. And omega 2 would be equal to r over 2l, this is negative, this is positive here, plus r over 2l square, these terms remain the same. So omega 1, 2 are found, the cutoff frequencies. Then using this definition, beta is equal to omega 2 minus omega 1, the bandwidth is equal to this thing minus this thing. You see, this term is going to cancel out and these two terms will add up to give us r over L. So beta is r over L. And then the quality factor by definition is equal to omega naught over beta. And if we use this, we can see that Q is equal to L over C R square root. So these are all the parameters of a band pass filter of a series RLC band pass filter. For different circuits, these expressions may be different. However, if we put our knowledge of what omega 1 is, omega 2 is, beta is, Q is, omega naught is, then we can see that from these expressions we can work out, because we know that R by L is beta. So basically this term is minus beta by 2, and 1 over LC is the square of omega naught. So we can very easily write that omega 1, 2 would be equal to minus for omega 1 and plus for omega 2, beta over 2 plus square root of beta over 2 square plus omega naught square. Now this is a generalized expression. It does not depend on a particular circuit. This is a general expression for parameters of a band pass filter. And similarly, with this knowledge, there is another expression that you can easily calculate and see how we arrive to that, knowing that Q is equal to omega naught by B, beta is equal to R by L, and omega naught is equal to 1 over under root LC. We can also work this out to be omega 1 2 equal to omega naught, the center frequency, multiplied by minus plus minus for omega 1 plus for omega 2, 1 over 2Q plus square root of 1 plus 1 over 2Q square. So this is also a generalized expression. It does not specifically belong to the series RLC circuit. Any circuit, any passive circuit, or even we will later see active circuits, can use these expressions. These are general expressions. And by the way, you are not supposed to cram and memorize all these equations. I will give you these equations in the circuit if it is an on in the exam, sorry, if it is an on-campus exam. But if it is an online exam, then obviously you are going to have the notes and the books and the internet with you, and I am not going to give these expressions. But I don't want you to cram them, because there will be several, as there are other circuits that we are going to study. So this is a band pass filter. These are the generalized expressions, and these are specific expressions for this circuit. If the circuit changes, these expressions may be changed. For example, I would implore you to look at another circuit and see and try to find out all these expressions for this circuit now. What was that circuit? So let us take the L and C here, and now not in series but in parallel. So we have the L and C in parallel and the R in series with this parallel. This is the output and this is the input. So do it yourself at home. To see, this is also a band pass filter. Now when you find the expressions, you will see that these expressions would still hold for this one. However, you should first try to find the h of s, and from there try to find h of j omega magnitude, and then find all these things. And you can even try to see that for this particular case, there will be a frequency for at which, if one of them is open, when omega is 0, one of them is open as the short and the other one is open. So basically we still have a short here, so V0 would be 0, and when omega is infinity, we would have a short here and an open, and the omega naught would be 0, and there would be a frequency omega naught, and you will see that omega naught would still be equal to this thing for this circuit, where the effect they cancel the effect of each other in such a way that the parallel is resolved to be of a value such that output would be maximum for that value, and it would be purely resistive. So you can try to find all these expressions. Let me tell you that while beta here is R by L, writing it again so that I can enclose it in a box, and Q is equal to L over CR square root For this circuit, when you try to find everything, you will see that omega naught is still equal to 1 over LC, and beta will come out to be something like 1 over RC. So you remember that tau in the series RL circuits, so that was L over R, so this is the reciprocal of that, and the tau for an RC circuit was RC, this is the reciprocal of that, and the Q was equal to R square C over L. I think this is the reciprocal of this one as well. So just try to do it yourself and verify that this is indeed the case. So both this is known as a parallel RLC, but that is important that not all components RLC are in parallel, because that will be meaningless. Why would that be meaningless? A purely parallel RLC with R parallel here would basically be an all pass circuit, not a band pass filter. And how to design a band pass filter? Okay, before I come to that example of a design, let me tell you a very interesting thing. Now, the same circuit, if you take the output from the other two circuit elements, so we have an L and C in parallel, in series, sorry. If we take the output across their parallel, their combination, both L and C are included, and the R is now not included in the output, then this becomes a band reject filter or band stop filter. Similarly, if we take the output across the R here in this case, whereas these are here and this R is here, that is going to make a band reject filter. So the same circuit acts as a band reject filter if the output is taken across the other element. And it would be interesting to note that for a band reject filter, this omega naught would still be the same thing, 1 over square root of LC. The omega 1 2 expression are exactly same as for series RLC band pass filter, that is this case, and the beta is still equal to R by L, and the Q would still be equal to L over CR square root. So these generalized expressions should be known, because they come in very handy for various circuits, and you should know each and every circuit, specific circuit, and their expressions as well. You don't need to just cram them, but know how to understand and use them. And similarly for this circuit as well. The best example, now let us talk about some application. Let me give you a common application of a band pass filter that you usually use it probably on a daily basis, is a graphic equalizer. You might have seen this on the audio systems, even in software as well as hardware, that you are given many slider controls, and you can, by the application of the slider, if you move the slider up, that component of the frequency in the audio, for example, if we have this slider tuned to a center frequency of 1 kilohertz, this one at a center frequency of 4 kilohertz, for example, and this one at 12 kilohertz, and of an audio signal usually has a range of 0 to 20 kilohertz, and you know that human speech takes up around 0 to 3.5 kilohertz bandwidth, and then there are the various musical instruments have different notes of different frequencies. So if you move this one up, then the speech parts amplifies. If you make this down, then the violin part or stringed instrument parts may be attenuated. And if you move this up, that part is going to be amplified. So a graphic equalizer is the probably one of the best examples that you see of a band pass filter.